518-7886, 518-4083, 722-6435, 722-7788, 723-0663, 722-6485, 722-6403, 518-9942, 722-6428, 518-1919, 722-6519, 518-1952, 723-0680, 722-6581, 518-1460, 518-1461. Additionally, if you're trying to reach the respiratory clinic, Grosley Polyclinic, that number is 518-4127. For the Dennery Clinic, it's 518-5695. VA4, it's 518-5881. Soufre, 518-1905. La Clary, 723-0712. And Victoria Hospital, which now serves as a respiratory clinic, that number is 518-4101. We continue our conversation with Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, who's the Minister for Culture and Creative Industries. If we may just touch on Carnival. Last week the news came out that we had to defer this year's Carnival, so all arrangement for this year will be transferred into next year. How did that decision come about?
Well, I think a great part of our government system is the willingness and desire at all times to consult and engage those persons who belong, to the business. And in speaking with the leaders of the Carnival Bands Association, the music industry here, there was a general sentiment that we should defer, you understand, the Carnival. In fact, initially they wanted us to consider doing it in October. Mm-hmm. But given the way that the regime unfolded with the COVID virus, it was a little difficult to get to any definitive decision with them on this early enough. We met with them again last week. Was it last week or last week, I think, or earlier this week? Last week. I'm a little lost now because of the days, because of everything that's happening. Yes. And it's a ghost town every day. So we met with them last week, and the general consensus was that, we really cannot do it because of the fact that in some cases, while some of the bands were already sold out, there were some that were still struggling to get themselves together. Yes. Because of all what's happening in terms of the international restrictions and, a host of other items. And so the general feeling was that, they were not able to do it. And of course, the Prime Minister who sat in on that discussion with us actually agreed, that, okay, let's agree, right here that we will not do it this year, but of course it will roll over into next year. And the language was very necessary in terms of how we presented the memo. Mm-hmm. And of course, we got that feedback again from our participants, the promoters and those involved in the Carnival Association, in terms of how it should be structured and worded so that everybody would be happy. Not everybody, but the majority. Because, you cannot please everybody. And I think the majority were happy with it. Our government is a government that is focused on promoting the arts and encouraging the arts. Mm-hmm. We have a Prime Minister, I think, that is just hungry to see mm-hmm. creativity and activity unfold anytime. And so I think, with his consensus, and with the team, I think it was great that within half an hour or so, we were able to come to a conclusion mm-hmm. that we were not going to do it this year because it really was not practical given everything else that was going on around us. Mm-hmm. But having said that, though, if the situation changes within this year, while we may not be focused on Carnival, but there will be other activities that may be organized to ensure that those persons who economically benefit, from the Carnival, from the music industry, here, you know, would carry on. So it's next year for the Carnival. But importantly for our artists, I think they can rest assured that this government is doing all it can to ensure that it continues to program with them along the way. And even in terms of the challenge of unemployment for some of them,
yes.
I think in the package that the Prime Minister is looking at, I mean, he's also looking to cater for those persons who would have been contributing and working, you know, during that period and they're not. So I think we have a committed government, you know, to the arts and the artists. There's no doubt about that. It's in everything that we do. And so we're grateful to the artists for giving of themselves to our nation. In fact, and as I say that, I want to commend the CDF and also the Ministry of Health and our ambassadors, Boo Hingson, Taj Weeks, and our brand ambassador, yes, Teddyson John, who was able to, Mishak and the team, who were able to put this beautiful song together. I don't know if you have the song. Do you have a song?
Yes, we do.
Yes, you all can play the
yes.
song at some point, you know, for the public, you know. So that's good. That's the kind of thing we encourage, particularly at this time when people are home listening to the music more than anything else. You know, we encourage our artists to produce, you know, and give up themselves, you know, to keep our society going. We know it's a challenge for many of them to stay home, but we believe that, yeah, you know, that can assist in keeping them, you know, together, keeping families together because of the message that they can, you know, impart while they're going through this time of crisis.
I'm happy that you mentioned the stimulus package to include the creatives, the
Yes.
artistic community, because not only are they impacted because of the absence of Carnival this year, but several of them rely on the hotel
Yes,
sector.
yes.
And with that being shut down, it's now zero for them. So I'm happy
Yes.
that
Yes.
is a consideration.
Yes, there is consideration for them, big time. Of course, there'll be regulations and stipulations, but of course, yes, they are in the pool for consideration. Yes.
If I may just continue reading as far as our frequently asked questions I mentioned earlier on. So, what are essential services and who is considered an essential worker under the state of emergency and 24-hour curfew? So we have essential workers including doctors, nurses, other healthcare workers, the police, fire service, and other emergency workers, sanitation workers, media and communication workers. The other question we'll respond to, will healthcare facilities remain open? And the answer, of course, is yes. These include St. Jude's Hospital, Suffolk Hospital, and the new OKEU Hospital, the Victoria Hospital, which has been transitioned into a respiratory center. In addition, all of the clinics will remain open, including the V4 Wellness Center, the Dennery Hospital, the Leclerc Wellness Center, the Suffolk Hospital, Canneries, and the Grosley Polyclinic. We also have another question that was asked earlier on today with regards to home caregivers. Will home caregivers be allowed to attend to the elderly, sick, and shut-in? Again, the answer to that is yes. These persons fall under the essential services, and as such will be issued with special cards to attend to persons in their care.
Yeah.
Another question, will fishers be allowed to go out to sea? We had with us this morning in studio Agriculture Minister Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, and what he basically said is that when the announcement of the shutdown was made the evening of March 31st, many fishers had already gone out to sea. These fishers are being allowed to go into the communities to sell their catch, keeping in mind the social distancing and adhering to protocols of not allowing more than 10 persons at a time. The cutoff time for these sales would be 4 p.m. today, April 1st, 2020. Thereafter, fishers are to cease from going out to sea until the 24-hour curfew is lifted. Senator Belrose, you're very much a community person. What has been the reaction from a community that has been very dear to your heart, the community of Marcia and that constituency?
Well, I find, to be honest with you, I think generally our communities have responded well, you understand, to the call by the government of St. Lucia with respect to the emergency services. In fact, as I drive around the communities, you know, people even offer me hand sanitizers. You understand, that's to show you how much they've taken it seriously. I think to a large extent, the majority of St. Lucians, the majority,
yes.
you know, the feedback has been great with respect to the response and understanding, you know, of why we are doing this. It's not deliberate. You know, it has to be done, you know, because the object for our government is to ensure that we save lives. We do not have the resources that the big countries have to deal with this issue. The most we can do is, you know, enact situations like this, the social distancing, and keeping people away from each other so that we can cease from spreading the virus in the rapid way that it is known to be produced. So I think generally St. Lucians have been supportive and responsive. Like I said, culturally, we love to hug, hold, and be a part of everything. But now we are understanding it's okay to stay away from each other and still celebrate, you understand, each other. You know, social distancing is what we gave to our enemies when we were growing up. You know, by mistake, way. So you keep away from that person, you know, in the setting, in the room, you know, even when you play in your sport, you're talking to that person, so you move on the next side. But this is, it's not who we are, you know, and so we're asking St. Lucians now to make that adjustment, you know, and protect yourself, you know, and stay away. It's a small sacrifice, but stay away, you know, and institute the measures that the Ministry of Health is asking us to every day. Wash our hands, sanitize, you understand, you know, stay away, keep ourselves away from each other so that we can, you know, live another day and another day and another day, and that our society can be here to go on. Because if we don't, you know, I mean, when we look at the numbers presented by the CMO, it's scary. You know, if you look at the numbers, if one person can infect 2 persons out of, say, 10 or 20, if you multiply this over 1 month, 10, 15 persons spreading this thing, it's going to be grave on our country, significant. And then the other issues too you have to look at is when you have all these dead people, how are you going to bury them? Where are you going to bury them? You understand? And so we cannot even attend the funerals already, you know, so there are lots of issues, and that will take a psychological toll on St. Lucian. So we're just asking St. Lucians, please, for our own sake, just stay home. It is okay to stay home. You know, 10 years ago we would not say that. You know, 5 years ago we would not say it's okay to stay home because we all wanted to work. But stay home.
Most
it is
definitely.
Okay to stay home.
A timely appeal, stay at home. The life you save might just be yours and that of your loved ones. We're due for another break, and when we get back, we continue our conversation with the Honorable Senator Fortuna Belrose, Minister for Culture and Creative Industries.
Thank you.
In a world where germs are widespread, comes a group of superhero germ busters, the germaphores.
We spend most of our time fighting germs, every day of the week. After I play, I wash my hands. Before I eat, I wash my hands. After I play with my puppy, I wash my hands.
I cover my sneezes with my forearm or elbow when I am in public. And I cover my cough to avoid spreading dangerous germs.
We are the germaphores, germ-busting superheroes. You can be too. Always wash your hands and cover your sneeze and cough. Let's stop the spread of menacing germs.
We'll be back, germaphores, with more powerful germs.
And we will be waiting to prevent you from spreading.
And welcome back to the studios of GIS. We're here talking about our response, COVID-19 response. We have Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose, Minister for Culture and Creative Industries, in studio with us. Let me just continue with some of our questions that we've been receiving. Will farmers be allowed to attend to livestock and fields? Again, we got some kind of response, well, not some kind of response from the Minister of Agriculture earlier on today. He announced that provisions have been made to the ministry's extension officers to facilitate farmers who need to go out to attend to their crops and livestock. The minister also stated that arrangements are being made for government to facilitate the purchase of some of these crops, which will be channeled through NEMO's food distribution process. Another very common question, will utility companies provide relief for clients? In his address, Prime Minister Alan Shastney announced that in discussion with WASCO Persons who had been disconnected would be reconnected, and there would be no disconnection for the next 3 months. Similar discussions, according to the Prime Minister, are taking place with Lucia, and these will be announced soon. In addition to the Bankers Association, it had been announced that special provisions have been made with the banks to facilitate persons with loans. Persons had been advised to call their respective financial institutions for clarity. We also have been receiving questions about community public washrooms, laundries, and baths. Will those remain open? And the answer, yes. These will be open at various times each day, and persons are asked to obey the protocols of best hygiene and health practices. And it is a time, Madam Minister, for us to really be our brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Because even with those public facilities, you know, how we treat them could affect what happens to the next person who has to use them, not just during this COVID-19 period, but it also exposes how we've been treating our very own public facilities over time.
Yes, and the whole issue of the hygiene and even the community facilities and community, I think the whole question of the management of our waste and how we handle sanitation within the communities and our own personal hygiene, you know, and how we relate, you know, in our society. It is something that is extremely serious, and I think COVID-19 is forcing us to rethink, again, look within, look at yourself, and then, of course, you work from there, from then on. Very important lesson, I think, for us as a society. The critical thing for us as a government, like I said, is the welfare of our citizens, the well-being of our citizens, the health of our citizens first and foremost, and of course everything else will come after. At this point in time, it is a health crisis which we're responding to, and people need to understand that and work with us as we try to ensure that this society does not reach the state that you know, it's really beyond our control. We need to work now in the initial stages. If we don't get this right now, it will escalate and go out of control. And so it's very important for us to do all we have to do now as citizens to stay on board with us. I think our team at the Ministry of Health has done an excellent job in terms of monitoring, providing the information to us so that we can make the decisions, informed decisions, and we're saying to St. Lucians, it is better to stay at home. Keep away from your friends. Use your internet, use your social media platforms, you know, to engage with your friends. It is okay. There's nothing wrong in that. You will not be lost in space. You know, we need them to understand that the health of our nation is the most critical thing for us at this point in time. And we're doing all we can to safeguard our nation, you know, St. Lucia.
Whilst you are not the Minister of Sports, I know sports is still very much dear to your heart. The cancelling of the Olympics, I mean, some of our athletes were also looking forward to participating in the Olympics and other regional and international games. What have been your conversation with some of these national athletes?
Well, I think in a way they're happy for the delay because now it provides them another year, you know, to actually qualify. Those athletes who have already qualified, and we didn't have any who had qualified yet. You know, so it works out well for St. Lucia in that our athletes have an additional year to put the work in to qualify. The good thing too is that the Olympic Solidarity is actually making funding available to them, you know, to be able to realize that goal, a dream of theirs, to qualify for the event. But yeah, within the sporting fraternity, I think people were disappointed. But I think, again, you know, we don't control things. You know, there's a mighty creator who determines all of our destiny. The most we can do is prepare ourselves for it. And as we say into St. Lucians, prepare. You know, we gave you a week. Prepare. You know, it's not just a week. It's like a hurricane is coming. We know it's coming. We gave all the coordinates and everything. We know it's coming, so we prepare. And so COVID-19, this is just the beginning, you know, just the beginning at the start. So this is not it yet. You know, we're at the start of this, and we're asking St. Lucians to take precautions from now, because if we don't, it will be catastrophic for us, and we can blame no one else than ourselves.
A very good point you're making there, because it's not like we were saying after the 7 days, is it all can we back to our normal lives?
That's right.
I mean, this situation is quite fluid, and every day something new comes up. So we're not even sure what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's right.
Far less at the end of the 7 days.
Exactly the point. And that's why it's important to have the restrictions. But within the restrictions, I think, given the type of government that we have, We always assess, evaluate, and of course make adjustments where necessary, because the state is very fluid. It is a fluid environment. And so it's important that St. Lucians understand that and work with us. The government is committed to the people of this country. The government means well. The government is well intended. And so I just believe that St. Lucians need to give the government a chance. Relax, stay home, reflect, think about all the things you could be doing, and think about the things, the time you're getting to spend with your children, which you have not done in years, you know, in that way. So we want St. Lucians to enjoy the time with their family, but equally we want them to understand that this is a serious matter. It is not, it's not a walk in the park. This is just the beginning of a long journey, from what I see.
Thank you very much, Senator the Honorable Fortuna Belrose. Thank you for joining us here at our studios at GIS, our COVID-19 response. Thank you to all our viewers, our listeners, and all our partner stations who have joined us here today at our GIS studios, our COVID-19 response. We are appealing to everyone to continue to be safe, continue to pay attention to all the directives from official sources only. Stay tuned to NTN for all relevant information, all factual information. Please stay away from fake news, stay at home, protect your family, keep yourself and others safe. Thank you.